Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Another, well, is it Thursday evening, isn't it? Regular for our river cruise sessions. And tonight, I'm very pleased my good friend Chris Townson, who is the managing director of Uniworld, has joined us or agreed to join us tonight for half an hour. Talk to us all things luxury. No doubt we'll maybe veer off the track slightly, but as friends always do. But I'm sure Chris is going to bring a lot to the evening and give you some real good insight into this amazing river cruise product that Uniworld have to offer. How are you, Chris?
I'm very good, Phil. Yeah, very good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm fine. Fine. Fresh off the golf course.
It's all right for some.
I'll tell you, I've been putting the hours in. I've been all these early mornings, and when you get this wonderful weather in the northwest of England on the English Riviera, you have to make the most of it.
Yeah, I've been looking out my window all day, Phil. Dreaming of that day. Dreaming of that day when I can get on a golf course again, but hopefully in the future.
I think after 12 months of being locked in, I think everyone's craving to get out and do something and have some exercise. But long may that continue. So, well, here we are, river cruising, and again. Why is it so popular? We always get asked that question from all the ocean cruisers. People who cruise the rivers know why. But I think it's, in terms of talking about Uniworld, why is it so popular? Because it is, after all, a premium product, a premium price. We make no apologies about that, do we?
Not at all. And it's interesting because I'm a big cruise fan. Full stop. That's where I sort of started in travel many moons ago, and I think transitioning to river cruise over the years, it's quite an interesting different scenario. That if you travel with the big cruise lines, obviously 2,000 or 3,000, 4,000 on a ship, and then you come into river cruise terms where there might be a couple of hundred people on a cruise ship, and then you come to Uniworld where we've got an average of 120 guests, which is actually technically 60 couples. So completely different feel. You're traveling in boutique, you're traveling in absolutely a small amount of people that really get to know each other through the cruise. So you've got one extreme to the other, and we're very much at that top end of river cruise and deliver to that market. It's
interesting, isn't it? Because when you talk about the space ratio, in terms of ocean, you talk about all this small ship cruising and number of guests to the number of crew. On the rivers, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because the ships are the same size. It's just that there is more space on your ships, and of course, there is the better ratio of crew to passenger.
Yeah, and that's purely by design, because obviously at the top end of the market, you want to make sure that you can actually deliver space. And by space, what we mean is we've taken out cabins, because the market leader is 190 guests on board. We're 120, so we've got 70 less guests straight away. That's 35 cabins less. And the reality of that is that we can have bigger staterooms and more suites, and then have more public areas. So I think the really interesting thing is this transition from ocean cruise to river cruise. And I think a lot of the high-end customers who go on Seabourn and Silver Seas and the higher-end products are probably not aware that there's a higher-end river cruise line that does the similar thing and has multiple restaurants, multiple venues on board, and the best level of service. And that's what we've designed the ships to do. So by doing that, we cater at that sort of very top end of the market.
And it's interesting because you talk about people maybe not knowing about Uniworld, and yet many of them will have, if they're into they like the luxury aspect, and these people travel business class, and they actually just appreciate the value. People will save up and spend good money if they're getting amazing service and an amazing experience. Let's be clear, this isn't just a holiday for rich people or anything like that. Excuse me, I haven't turned my phone off, and I'm just about to do it. But it's not a holiday for those rich people. It's an experience that people are actually using now. It's this bucket experience, isn't it? That we're finding people, have had that much, 2 years nearly, 16, 18 months of lockdown, and they want to spend money on something that's going to deliver an amazing experience.
Definitely, and that's what we're seeing absolutely in terms of people upgrading and pay a few £100 more and travel with the best on a 7-night cruise, which is what we deliver. So you can sort of choose to sort of go mainstream or pay a little bit more, and your experience is a completely different level. I think when we talk about Uniworld and the whole ethos, from the service, in terms of that sort of service ratio, is just a completely different level. The ship's designed for the rivers they sail on. Bottom line is we don't have a fleet of ships that are the same around the world. Each river we sail on, the ship is designed for that river. So it's not just a fact that you're on a river cruise ship on that river, but you're actually got that sense of place. So, for example, if you cross, I don't know, in Paris on the Joie de Vivre traveling down the Seine, then the reality is you feel like you're in the best Parisian boutique hotel there is in Paris. It's just a completely different level. Or across on the Mekong on the super ship, Mekong Jewel, it feels like you're stopping in Raffles. It's got that whole, Raffles feel in Singapore, Indochina, and across in Bordeaux with the supership Bon Voyage. It's designed for the southwest of France. It's got big canopies on the top deck. Again, barbecue area, a swimming pool at the back, a cafe on the top deck, and cocktails being served by your waiters as you go. So everything is designed for that river, which is very unique in terms of river cruise and a lot of cruise lines, to be honest. So, which gives you 2 holidays in one. You're actually getting that experience on board and also off board as well. Very, very close to what you're actually getting delivered off board.
That is absolutely spot on, Chris. And I couldn't have put it better myself, having been lucky enough to experience some of Uniworld's ships. And it is quite true that, they're designed and paired up for the destinations they sail in. And, touching on the Bordeaux one, wow. The Bon Voyage is just, when you go down to dinner and, you walk into the restaurant, and I went, crikey, what, really? I was like, not quite sure. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the guests came in for dinner, the whole atmosphere, the ambience of that restaurant and why it was done, why it suddenly became clear. And It was just fantastic. It just absolutely blew me away. And that was just so Uniworld, really.
I think it is. And I think that, that restaurant's called La Grande Fromage. So, it's absolutely a typical French restaurant. And again, I've been lucky to eat in some amazing restaurants in the world. But that restaurant on the supership Bon Voyage is just simply stunning. The whole design, look and feel. And that's just one restaurant out of the 4 in terms of the brasserie on board as well, the cafe on the top deck, and also a fine dining venue there. So it seems strange to maybe a lot of ocean cruises that you've got 4 restaurants on what is seen as a small ship, but we actually fit 4 proper restaurants on there. And I think the other key link with restaurants is about our approach to food. We have an absolute seasonal menu. So if you go into a top restaurant in London, that will be seasonal, it will be local, it will be fresh, and the same ethos runs through our business. That absolutely that we don't have a menu that is operating through the season. It could be, for example, if blackberries are in today and seasonal, and they're not in tomorrow, it won't be on the menu. It's as simple as that. Or we'll go to local fromageries and get the local cheeses, and we'll go to, again, the local markets and bring local food on board. So and the chefs have their own budget to go out and actually bring the seasonal product to bear. So the menus are constantly evolving as we go through the season. And again,
it's true, because I've seen it. We walked ashore with the chef. I think it may have been Avignon, and we went into the market square, the locals, and we walked around, and they were buying all the fresh produce that was in season at that time, and then we took it back to the ship, and that was cooked by the chef for the evening meal. So classic example. It was just remarkable, and that happens everywhere. We talk about. I think what's interesting now to talk about is what's selling at the moment, and probably one of the peak places that we know is selling is starting probably January 22 onwards. The Mekong, very topical, fabulous place. It's on most people's bucket lists, and I'll tell you now, it should be, because I've been there, done it. It is the best river cruise experience I've ever had. But the food on board, it is just incredible what they can do. blows you away. It's amazing.
And yeah, I mean, look, the whole sort of exotics collection we've seen really bounce back since the end of October, November.
Yeah.
People come back, in surging numbers. We talk about pent up demand and people really wanted to get to, I wouldn't say particularly bucket list, but these big long haul trips. People want to go back because if they've not travelled for 3 or 4 years on these long haul trips, they want to get out and do it and crack on with it and make sure they tick off these lists. And that ranges from. And really what we do is cross over the best in touring and the best in river cruising. So if you look at something like our India product where we do 5 nights in the Golden Triangle, so we're taking in Delhi, Agra and Jaipur and then flying down to the Ganges, we're doing that and we're stopping in Oberoi's for 5 nights. So it's literally like you're stopping in the Dorchester every night. It is unbelievable. Yeah. We're crossing Agra and the hotel at the Oberoi there, and literally you're in Taj Mahal view rooms overlooking the Taj Mahal, and the night before you've got sunset in the Taj Mahal. The following morning, sunrise, and we pick you up in a golf buggy at the front of the hotel. 600 meters away, we take you to the front of the Taj Mahal. Nobody's there. Absolutely, completely unique in terms of what we deliver, and those sort of experiences feed through every Uniworld trip. So these sort of money can't buy experiences is what we're about, and doing it in a small and a boutique way. So this is not about, I think a lot of river cruise companies are seen as somebody with a white flag taking you around Vienna in a group of 50. That is so far away from what we do. It's unbelievable. We are absolutely small private group tours about choice and flexibility and doing things that just wow you. You can't do that in normal terms at the Taj Mahal, but we do. And then we do that through most of the places we operate. So something like that itinerary there has just been literally selling so much over the last 2 or 3 months, and I think this is very much related to jabs. I think when we saw people getting the first jab and then the second jab, the confidence came back from the consumer and went, you know what, I'm going to do that big trip and I'm going to plan it for next year, get that in the bag and get it planned and organised. And we've seen this repeat itself across the Mekong, as you were just saying, where you're taking Siem Reap and Ho Chi Minh City and 7 nights down the Mekong, and also Egypt. Egypt is you'll remember this, Phil, from 20 years ago, that Egypt was the #1 river cruise in the world. Forget about Europe; it was all about Egypt.
It was indeed,
and now it's bouncing back. We've got 2 ships on Egypt. We've got a brand new super ship launching this year, Super Sphinx. And I think that whole sort of dream of seeing Egypt, combination of Cairo and then 7 nights down the Nile is again a perfect combination. So, and even to an extreme, we've got a very small ship which holds 24 guests on Peru. So Peru and Amazon, and combining those itineraries together as well. So that is a real bucket list trip. So we've got a range of everything, and those sort of long haul destinations are certainly absolutely in favour for 2022. People want to get them booked in.
Yeah, well, I think you've covered off 2 things there, haven't you, really? What's selling, clearly it is, the long haul is selling extremely well.
Yeah.
And also, what's the difference? Why would people choose Uniworld? And I think what you said there about having all the rooms facing the Taj Mahal, and the fact that you jump into a buggy in the morning to watch the sunrise, I mean, that is someone's idea of a luxury holiday and a bucket list experience. Got to be.
To be honest, it's the best Golden Triangle tour you can do. But we happen to be a river cruise company that pulls all this together and make it happen. So, it's not probably where you'd search normally. Most people searching for an India holiday wouldn't come to a river cruise company, may not come to yourself, Phil. So, but actually, that's what we've got, and that's what we deliver. And I think what we've done during COVID is the ability to bring our products to communicate in a much better way. So with India, for example, we've got one of the directors in India who's actually put like a 15-minute video together, and he absolutely just communicates what this trip is all about. It's literally, every time I see that video, every time I speak to Arjun, it's very spiritual. The way it brings it across, it's really, it brings, what India is all about. And in 15 minutes, you watch that video, and, the amount of people that watch that and then go on and book is amazing, because they really get the fact that this is just an absolutely different level of experience that they want to do. And people, I think people are back to your point earlier, people are looking at it going, yeah, we've been cooped up for now 18 months. When we go back traveling, let's do it properly and let's do it well. Let's not scrimp and scrape, but let's pay a bit more and you pay for what you get. And absolutely, so people are upgrading and seeing those things.
Yeah, and I think that point you made about the video that Arjun did, it is very moving, very spiritual, it's very genuine. And anybody who's watching, if you'd like to see it, you'd like a copy, then just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to share it, won't we, Chris?
Definitely, yeah. No, it's amazing, and what we've done with exotics as well, we packaged it with flights, and we've also got a one-way business class upgrade on it for 2022 as well. So people booking early get that free business class upgrade as well.
We touched on the talking about the dining experience, and again, I just want to get this point home to people who are watching, that I liken it to maybe May and June in the when you're doing the Norwegian fjords, when you're on a ship. Everybody wants to have those tables that are sat at the back of the ship as the ship's sailing out through the fjords, because it can be 1-2 o'clock in the morning before a ship has actually cleared the fjords. And of course, with the midnight sun, why wouldn't you want to be dining, looking at all that marvelous scenery? And yet, on majority of ocean ships, when you dine in the evening, you're dining when the ship has sailed. So there's nothing more to see, in those terms. But when you're on a river ship, you've got all this scenery that is around you, 360 degrees. And even when you're sailing and when you're dining in the evening, you've still got the scenery to look at. It is a great experience that people, we have to keep reminding people.
Yeah, totally. River. Every time I get on a river ship, I still get the tingles. It's an experience that you literally, you just feel like you got the riverbanks each side, like say 365 views, and you sat on that top deck, watching the world go by, arriving in the centre of town, and literally you are docked in the centre of town, so you can just walk in the centre of town. So after your meal, after dinner, have a wander into town, come back and make the best of the ship as well. Going back to Joe de Vivre in Paris, we dock literally 15 minutes away from the Eiffel Tower. So the brasserie at the front there, which serves a 3-course Parisian dining experience, literally your backdrop is the Eiffel Tower. So you can't get more central than that. And again, that happens all around the world.
Well, interestingly, we come back to the place of food and wine, the birthplace of Bordeaux, and the Bon Voyage. Yeah, we were due to be going this year, last year, and then this year, and it's such a shame, as we know, the pandemic has put paid to that. But the good news is that we're operating the cruise, aren't we, next year?
Yep.
On the 12th of June, and I know that Jill is going to be taking my place. She's going to be looking after everybody. And I think Richard's on there giving people a little talk about Blackpool Illuminations. So yeah, not one to be missed. And we've got a little new group price, haven't we, on that next year? I think it leads in for about 2,949 with everything included. So absolutely, that's something to look forward to. And I think we've also got a little video, haven't we, on Bordeaux that Lewis has got for us prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a short video just showcasing what the Super Ship Bon Voyage is all about.
And your boss, is it Ellen, is doing the voiceover?
Absolutely. She's on it.
Fantastic. Go on then, let's see this.
We are currently on the super ship Bon Voyage, formerly the River Royale. It truly is a floating boutique hotel. It's an experience.
I'm really pleased to be here on the super ship Bon Voyage in the Bordeaux region of France. The decor truly reflects everything that is magical about this part of the world.
Once you've experienced it, you're never going to forget it.
Not only have we added 4 new suites, 4 new dining options, including the Cave de Vin, we have a one-of-a-kind infinity pool on the top deck, the Soleil deck of the ship. And in Bordeaux, in southern France, the summers can be warm, but perhaps there's no better way to see the river than from a dip in an infinity pool with a cocktail in your hand, overlooking the gorgeous scenery of Bordeaux, France.
Now that's a ship.
It's yeah. Well, you travelled around 2019, didn't you, Phil? I think for on a launch.
I did. Yeah, I did it. Did all that. Did the whole thing with the was it the mussels at no, the oysters? Sorry, from Arcachon.
Yes, stunning, isn't it? Yeah. What lovely morning that is. You get off the ship and we've got the fort to ourselves, and then you have a stroll up, don't you? And literally, talk about proper just being caught. Literally, they are shucking them in front of you, aren't they? And these are proper French boys shucking the oysters, and then a nice couple of glasses of white wine. What a way to go through a morning. Fantastic.
It was, and you stood there, and you just look over your shoulder, and you stood at the top, and there's the ship just there, right? 2 minutes walk away. And if you wanted to get a bike, you can go and have a cycle if you wanted. Fantastic.
I went. I was lucky enough to take various sort of partners across in 2019, and these guys have travelled the world in absolute style at some of the best hotels in the world, and they were absolutely, just said this ship was a different level. The itinerary was an absolute different level as well, because obviously the onboard experience, but the offboard experiences, where you've got the, like you said, you just mentioned about the bikes, and this particular sail that I was on, literally there was about 6 bikes, and we've got about 30 bikes on the ship. But this, in the middle of August, what a better way to see Bordeaux going down the country lanes and down wineries. So we just hired another 40 bikes in, and we hired an extra crew in to actually organise and do this. So again, it's that level of delivery that we're about. And you go to somewhere like Saint Emilion in the wineries, and again we go to boutique wineries, and we might have like 12 guests in X winery and another 12 guests in another winery. So this is very, very small and boutique. So again, you're just seeing the very best of that part of the world.
You know what you mentioned about them? People wanted to do it, so you went out and got it. People need to understand, I think, this whole can-do attitude. We are at a different level of service here. No doubt about it. And it's just does come through, and it's just amazing. It is. It's fabulous. Let's just quickly, let's talk while we're talking about experiences. I can't finish this really without talking about what I think's a little bit of a jewel in the crown. And I know I said that everyone's got to go to the Mekong, and I really mean that. Got to go to the Mekong. But people have been going to Italy for years and years and years. Yep. But actually, there is a part and a way to see Italy that you do, and you do exclusively pretty much, and you do it really, really well. And let's talk about the Venice Lagoon, and people, Trocello, Burano, and Mezzorbo, places like that are in the lagoon, and then going down the River Po. I mean, come on.
It's stunning. I mean, and the ship is, again, a brand new super ship La Venice. Literally, she is launching this year. So, and this ship has been designed on 1930s Venice. So with Fortuna, the fabric maker in Venice, we've literally sat down and developed it all around that. So the whole feel is that elegance of Venice in the 30s. You walk on the ship and you are absolutely gobsmacked. There's no doubt about it. And again, 3 or 4 restaurants on board and designed around the whole Venetian feel. And you go through to Bologna as well, down the River Po. It's really interesting at the moment. Venice seems to be absolutely everywhere on TV. We were on actually the world's most scenic rivers on Friday night on Channel 5 on the Po. So on the Po River was on there. Greg Wallace on Venice on Channel 5 has been on recently, and also the best restaurants in the world with Fred Sirax and Angela Harnett. They really brought it to life the other week because they were in St. Mark's Square. They were in Burano as well, that we go to, this lovely little island off the Venice Lagoon. And again, not just the onboard experience, but the offboard. Somewhere, we'll go to Dodge's Palace before it opens, so you know what the queues are like. There, literally, it is just full on.
Yeah.
And then we come out of Dodge's Palace, and then you see the queue for St. Mark's Basilica, which just snakes around the whole of St. Mark's Square.
Yep.
But not with Uniworld, because we go back at night time, and we actually just have the St. Mark's Basilica exclusively to ourselves. So this place is normally full completely all day long. We go in there with maximum 120 guests, and we have expert guides who walk us through, and you even go to the back of the crypt and below the crypt, and literally you're in there for an hour and a half, and it's such an immersive experience. So again, these money can't buy experiences we just include in it all.
That's
it's just an amazing, off the back of all this activity on Venice, we just put a new Italy brochure together, because we've actually got combinations not just of the cruise itself, but we also have touring. So you can go to 7-night tours of Italy combined with the Northern Italy cruise, and also we brought in our new cruise and rail combinations for 2022 as well. So these are a cruise. These are where we actually charter a whole train, and this is Golden Eagle. This is literally above the level of Orient Express. It's all private cabins, all ultra all inclusive. This is literally cruising on the rails. So we actually charter the ship, we take Uniworld guests on there from Zurich to Venice, and then we do our Northern Italy cruise. And we've also included a new one for 2022 going from Istanbul to Venice, and then the cruise as well. So there's all sorts of combinations of people to do it. But absolutely, if you want the most immersive Northern Italy experience in the ultimate style, then the Super Ship 11 is
and the large ships now, Chris, it's going to be, well, they are not going to be sailing into Venice Lagoon. I think that's quite clear. There's going to be a real limit, a cap on that, the size of the ship. But for people who, like you said, who want to see Venice as it is, and actually as it was, because you give them the exclusivity of going behind the scenes before they open, when they've closed, people get to see Venice as it was, as it should be, as it was meant to be. And sailing around the lagoon and the islands is just, like you say, it is that money can't buy that you're giving people. And it's just amazing. I'm so glad you touched on the trains. I'm a bit of a train thing. I love traveling around the UK on trains. I don't like driving that much anymore. It's not pleasant, is it? But round Italy, especially, trains are great. But taking it on the different level yet again, it's absolutely fantastic. But go on.
Yeah, I think it's offering guests that choice. So, some people, the 7-night cruise works, but what we found, we launched the rail this year in 2021, and we had one itinerary, and we've quadrupled the number of itineraries now that we've got on the rail because it's sold so well. So I think that sort of golden era of traveling, absolutely. Do you want to go on the roads, or can you do this amazing train journey and just relax, just chill out, let us do it all for the guest? And again, it's just a completely different level. So it's something for everybody, really. Yeah.
Listen, before we go, we've got to do this. Let's touch on this. Tell us where we are. You're the man in the know as well. I'm a little bit in the know, but you're more up to speed. What the protocols? What can we expect on board? What do we know at the moment? I know things are changing, and hopefully it'll get a lot easier. But where are we at the moment, Chris?
So I can tell you from an internal point of view, we've been working with key suppliers and operators to implement a whole set of new procedures to make sure we're covered for obviously at government level in every country that we go through. So we've got a whole sort of training that's been going on for a couple of months in the virtual space. So all our team, we've got a new, I think it's about 120-page directory of new procedures behind the scenes, and that's all being trained in with our team. Once we are ready to sail, then actually on board, what will that look and feel like? We believe, and again, this is all changing, as you say, but the reality is that a river cruise ship is small. So in reality, to walk from your cabin through to reception, through to front deck or top deck or restaurant, you can do that very quickly. So, we believe at the moment that might be wearing a mask as it stands, but as soon as you get into sitting down wherever, then your mask is off. Our ships, as we said before, have got less people on board. We've got more space on board. So actually, in terms of where we are already, we've got this whole flow of people that can walk around and can get on with it. So actually, once you sat down, you got your mask off, and then you're back to normal life. So actually, you're having your drinks, you're having your meals, and you can carry on. So from an off-board perspective, we may need to tweak certain experiences. So obviously, if there's certain places that can only hold so many people, then we'll tweak that experience. But again, we actually operate small groups a lot of the time. So it's not back to the point I was making before about 50 people following somebody in Vienna with a white flag. We don't do that. We actually do it on a small basis. So we have to tweak what we do on certain experiences. But our aim, we're not going to operate a Uniworld cruise if we can't deliver the Uniworld experience. It's simple as that. So we'll only operate when we can actually deliver to the world-class experiences that we normally do. Some small tweaks maybe here and there, but overall, it won't be too far away from what you've had before.
Brilliant. Chris, it's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for giving us half an hour of your evening.
Yeah, no worries.
You're extremely busy, and you've got a lot on your plate at the moment. So it's very kind of you to come and talk to us, talk to our guests, and we really appreciate it.
Not at all, Phil. We love working with you guys. So we've got a great relationship. Obviously, we go back many years, and I think we've had so many satisfied guests traveling with us from yourself. So may long that continue. Absolutely. Yeah,
and may it continue to grow.
Absolutely, sure.
Great stuff. Listen, thanks, Chris. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight and watching. It's been great to be able to sit here and talk to another one of my great friends about an absolutely fantastic product. Uniworld is unique. If you want to know more about it, call our team at rivercruising.co.uk. So from me, Phil and Chris, have a lovely evening and stay safe. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.